Hello, my lovely folks. How are you? I'm so sorry to keep you waiting, but I'm so happy to be on live. Let me give people a minute to find the live stream. There's so much to talk about. I'm not going to be able to stay on for long because I have a basketball game to attend. But I was dying to come on because there's some really important things to talk about. So please share, subscribe, ring your bell, ring my bell, hit that like button. What else? Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All these videos are made for the tube of you, and it's an infotainment platform. And how's my hair? How's my makeup? How are my lips? Most importantly. So yeah, for the thumbnail, I just had to use the Karolying lion mouth, those lips that move like a machine gun with the kung fu grip. Yeah, she's a really ugly person, and I think it really shows in her personality. I mean, she used to be cute, I think, before she started like lying full-time for a living. That's just my humble opinion. Anyway, my hair is terrible. There's more important things to focus on than my hair. Dan Bongino is resigning. But you guys, what I put in the thumbnail, or not in the thumbnail, but in the title of the video, the coincidences. Did you know that Michelle Reiner, I'm forgetting her maiden name, starts with an S. She was a professional photographer, and she knew Donald Trump for 40 years. Is that right? 40 years? No, only 38. Okay. 38 years ago, she took his photograph for the cover of his book, The Art of the Deal. Michelle, I'm calling her Michelle Reiner, but I don't think she used her husband's last name. I think she used her maiden name. Like I said, it started with an S, 5 letters. Oh, let's just pull it up, because that just drives me nuts. I had it in my brain, and Anna Bees is trying to find my live. So, are you here, Anna Bees? What is Michelle's last name? It is a very famous photograph, and a lot of people call her Michelle Reiner, but I don't think that that's her name. Singer. It's 6 letters, sorry. Michelle Singer. But this is the photograph. We've all seen it a million times. It's a very good photograph that was used on the cover of his book. I mean, it's very artistic, with Central Park kind of foggy behind him with the skyline. And it's very classic, kind of Mona Lisa. I had not thought about it until looking at it in the reflection of the screen right now. Very Mona Lisa. Wow. I'm going to put that side by side by Mona Lisa. So anyway, he knew her, Anna Bees. Trump knew Michelle. What did I just say her last name was? 6 letters, starts with an S. Michelle Reiner. Singer. That should not be so hard. You know, singer, like a musician. Thank you, Anna B says singer. So Michelle Singer took that effing pig's photograph 38 years ago for the cover of his super duper bestseller book. And then he writes that shit about her on the freaking internet. It just confirms for me even further that there's much more to this story than a habitually substance abusing and addicted son with psychiatric issues. it definitely confirms that, as does what I was saying yesterday about the fact that it was Sunday, the first day of Hanukkah, and that Rob and his wife celebrated Hanukkah. They were Jewish, and it happened on the same day as the slaughter on Bondi Beach. Pam Bondi Beach. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a weird coincidence too. Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. And, I hadn't thought about in a long time the young couple that was pew-pewed in front of the Jewish Organizational Museum or something. It wasn't the Holocaust Museum, which is what I had thought it was, but it was a different Jewish institution in Washington, D.C. I think it was this past May. And they apprehended the shooter right there on the spot. But I need to look into what the alleged story is with him. He probably tried to pick up on her and she said no. Anna Bees, you are so freaking sharp. Let's see, if it was 38 years ago, I think she's about 10 years older than me. I think Rob Reiner was 78 and she was 68 and I'm 58. So I was 20. I was 20 in 1987. And so she would have been 30. And, that was the same year that allegedly, I believe that was, I want to say, am I wrong? The same year that he might have married Ivana, the same year that he might have become an asset. Let's see. No, they were married for 13 years. They were married from 1977 to 1990. But 1987 was the year that they were in Leningrad together, and there's a lot of photos of them. And like I said, it is the year that it's believed that he was recruited as an asset, knowingly or unwittingly, right? I was 24. Annabee says. So yeah, I mean, he tried to sleep with everything that moved and people that came to interview him. There was one story of a journalist who he was hitting on when Melania, I think it was Melania, it could have been Marla, but I think it was Melania. Like when she would leave the room, he would like say to her, "You and I are going to have an affair." But he probably doesn't, I was going to say he probably doesn't speak properly. He probably says, "Me and you are going to have an affair," which I always remember how you use me and I, which is the right way, is try to use it in that same sentence without the other person. So it might sound right to say me and you are going to have an affair, but that would be like saying me going to have an affair. So you would say you and I. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of the English grammar lesson. Let's see. The place where Rob Reiner's house is located, I got curious. I was trying to not think that there's a big conspiracy behind it. I was trying to think like, yeah, this was a troubled kid, bad situation. The fight at the Conan O'Brien party, and then I've since learned that they were unalived in their own bed. So that would explain how he was able to overpower his father and overpower the two of them if they were sleeping, right? It's completely plausible still that it was simply that. However, you just got to look at the evidence. This is not being a conspiracy theorist. When you look at the post that Donald made, the day after they passed away. The vicious, vile post. And then the fact that he knew her. He worked with her at least the one time on that photo shoot for the cover of his book, which was a big deal. That book, The Art of the Deal, is sort of like the cornerstone of his career. If he would have mentioned in his post, like, you know, I actually knew her, or I had been introduced to her, I worked with her once. But the fact that he didn't, and he just acted like she was somebody that he didn't know, but he focused on like what he knows of her husband, to me, that's very telling. Very telling. That's how I do it too, LOL. Well, and it's so easy when you're getting gaslit to just get bamboozled and you can't see the forest through the trees. So yeah, you have to break it down. I think it's really important. So, you know, I thought that I was maybe the only one going out on this limb saying like all these things happening all at once is too much news in just a few short days. The more videos I got to watch last night, it seems like that's kind of what everybody is saying. Like, this is like 3 weeks worth of newsworthy events in 3 days, right? And it is. And I think it's going to keep ramping up. I don't know of any other crimes that have happened yet today that would fit into that potential category of part of the distraction. And I think it's important to delineate that even though they may be part of a distraction, they're still crimes on their own, still homicides on their own, still war crimes on their own, still acts of terrorism on their own. Like the professor from MIT yesterday. It's just absolutely mind-numbing. So let me try to stay focused. Another channel that I really like, Anna B's. Are you familiar? I think I wrote down 2 of their names. Elizabeth Cronus McLaughlin. I'll put a link in the description to one of her more recent videos. She dropped a couple, I think, already today, and I think I watched at least one of them. She is very kind of low profile and really sharp. She's an attorney. And another one, if I wrote it down, I thought I did. And I've written it in a different book. Anyway, let me finish the thought of what I was saying of the proximity of where Nicole Brown Simpson was red rummed, where the Reiners were red rummed, and where the Manson red rums happened with Sharon Tate. Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer's home is on South Chadbourne Avenue, and that's in Brentwood. And, you know, I kind of know the area. Brentwood's a beautiful area. It's kind of like sandwiched in between Santa Monica and Pacific Palisades. Sunset Boulevard, I think, before Pacific Palisades. Anyway, it's kind of like a hidden little pocket. It's kind of connected to, like, I want to say West Hollywood, which is like where the movie district is over by UCLA, but then coming towards the ocean. It's a phenomenal neighborhood. So it's where O.J. Simpson lived, was Brentwood, the Brentwood estate. But Nicole Brown Simpson was, I want to say, just like a mile away from where the Reiners were red rummed. And I'm not saying that there's any conspiracy here. I'm just saying that it's a dark place. As much as it's so freaking beautiful and elegant and classic, just kind of low key for like Bel Air and Hollywood and all that, but top notch, like total upper crust. So of course it has its dark side. The Manson murders were about 4 or 5 miles away. That address is 1005 Cielo Drive. And I don't think that that address is categorized as Brentwood. It's more like the Hollywood Hills or something. I'm forgetting what it's called. But it's all kind of the same little nest. Like I said, north of Santa Monica, Brentwood sandwiches right into Santa Monica. They are like connected. And then just south of Sunset Boulevard. And then what is that? Laurel Canyon. Remember, there's like a movie written about Laurel Canyon. That's right there too, just north of Brentwood. Laurel Canyon is known for a lot of Titanic type of crap with Hollywood. So, I don't know if there's anything to it. I don't think he's made his video yet. And I don't agree with everything Dee Got a Podcast says, but I do appreciate his content. And I watched a video of his last night because I was surprised to see that we're thinking much along the same lines. But he said that he believed that it was like ritualistic crap and that he had evidence to back up that opinion and that he was going to present it in his next live, which he hasn't made yet, I don't think. I thought that was pretty wild, but again, you can't rule anything out. I mean, in my opinion, it's Titanic to do what was done, no matter who did it, no matter what the reason. Yes, I've watched the attorney's channel. Oh yeah, isn't she amazing? That Elizabeth Cronice McLaughlin. And then who is the other one? I think I might have written it down in this other notebook right here. Sherry Jacobs. Are you familiar with her, Annabise? They're very similar to each other, and I like them both a lot. So let's talk a little bit about the crazy Susie Wiles interview, because that's where that photograph of Karoline's crazy machine gun killing kung fu grip lips up close photograph is from the Vanity Fair photo shoot. Susie Wiles said a bunch of crazy stuff in her interview, in her 11 interviews. And I don't think that they were an hour each. I don't know. I think that they were 11 long interviews. And she tried to say that her and the president did not know that jizz was going to be transferred until after the fact. And that then when they found out that Donnie was upset about it and he couldn't do anything to reverse it, give me an effing break. Does she think we're all as stupid as she's acting like she is? That's ridiculous. That's obscene. And so much of what they're saying and doing is obscene. And here we are 2 days away from the drop of the Epstein files. 2 days away. She said the president was ticked when he found out about the transfer. That's the word she used, ticked. And that he was mighty unhappy. Man. I am going to be skipping around because I got to be so quick with this video. I want to jump right into Erica's conversation with Barry Weiss on the 13th. Was that Saturday or Sunday? And what a flop that interview was, and how much she told on herself and how much she outed herself, as did Barry Weiss as well. I don't think she did herself or her channel any favors, and I'm glad for that. But in that interview, Erica said, "We are not robots." She was talking about her family, like her Turning Point family. We are not robots. She kind of said it robotically, I think. But I'm thinking that they probably are a lot of bots online. So like, why would you say that? And maybe they have a whole bunch of those computer chips in their heads that Elon's doing, the neurochips. So maybe they are part robot. The black man that I was talking about, his channel is Darren Monroe Politics. He's good. Well, thank you, Anna Bees. I don't know that name, I don't think. I'm going to write it down. Darren Monroe Politics. Man. Yeah, I think I enjoy the channels that you share with me just about as much as you enjoy them, Annabees. So I'm always really happy to get your recommendations. And most of my viewers, the recommendations that are made are spot on. So in talking about Erica Kirk, let's see, I have some stuff in my notes here. She's a failed actress, just like the president. They both had reality television. They both have reality television on their resumes. Obviously, Donnie's got The Apprentice, right? He was the star of the show. You're fired. And she was on something called like, oh, I'm blanking on the title of it right now. I'll look it up. I think she was only on for like one season. Erica Kirk. It was something like Summer House Babes or something, reality show. And you know how those reality shows are. They're all pretty skanky. Yeah, it's called Summer House. Look how close I was. Didn't I say something Summer House? That's probably like exactly what I said. That's hilarious. But I'd never heard of it. So Summer House from Bravo. And she was on season 3, episode 11. And this was in 2019. So she's actually an actress, in my opinion. And she's a really bad actress. Like that interview. Like she really needs to, I don't know, maybe take some acting classes. My guess is that she thinks she can do it without classes. And same with Donnie. But I also wanted to say, when he made his post and he didn't mention that he knew Rob Reiner's wife, Michelle Singer, from working with her, that could be the dementia too. That could be the syphilis, Alzheimer's dementia, right, Annabees? That maybe he forgets that he knew her. But his staff should follow up on that and say something about it. I think when these things aren't acknowledged, that's what makes it so suspicious. It's not so suspicious that they crossed paths, that she took pictures of him for the cover of that book. That's not suspicious in and of itself. But they're not saying anything about it is very telling. Anna B says, I subscribe to Reese Waters' channel. That man is brilliant. I love him. He's like my idol right now. I would love to be like a female white version of what he does. But I'm so far from it. I mean, he was a professional stand-up comedian, and I think he's been like a sportscaster or talk show host or something. Like his whole career has been in being behind a camera. And this is my first shot at anything like this. I mean, I took a couple of acting classes in college. 1987 was the first time I ever took an acting class. I think I was in one play in college, like one kind of big production. That's it. So yeah, obviously I'm really bad at this, but I don't care. Sometimes I think being bad at it is what makes me good at it, because I'm just me. Like, I don't even try to put on any kind of air, but I would love to put on the kind of air that Reese Waters puts on, because he is freaking hilarious. I don't watch any reality TV. I got really caught up in like The Bachelor when it first came out, and The Bachelor, Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire. I was totally caught up in those. One of the best guilty pleasure TV shows from Hulu or Netflix that you could binge stream is called Unreal. Have you ever heard of that, Annabise? It's a fictional show about what goes on behind the scenes in a reality show. And it's so freaking good. And it's so freaking bad. I mean, it's so salacious and inappropriate and just a very guilty pleasure. Unreal. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Have you heard of it? Some really fine writing and acting. And very telling. Like a lot of crazy crap that goes on behind the scenes. Except for our current administration, yeah. Yeah, that's like a sitcom, a slapstick sitcom. Seriously, yes, it could be his dementia. I watch Godfrey's shorts. He does great little T impressions. Gilbert Godfrey? I haven't seen him in a long time. Gilbert Godfrey. I'll check that out. No, I haven't watched that. No, I haven't heard of it. Oh, yeah, write it down. If you're into a guilty pleasure kind of mini series, I think it only went for 3 seasons, which to me was a huge disappointment. Anyway, I'm going to have to wrap up soon. So let me get back onto what I was trying to say about Erica and Dear Leader and Kash Patel, Bongino, all of these people. They're so into being on screen. And I'll admit, it's fun to be on screen. I mean, it's terrifying, it's humbling. But yeah, of course, it's fun. You know, I kind of feel like a little kid, like, oh, look at me, I'm on TV. But these people can't get enough. And they're not real professionals of politics. Maybe they're real professionals of entertainment or social media or whatever, but that's what they want. That's what they're after. They're just after the attention. It's like an addiction, like talking about the addictions, like with Nick Reiner and with the alcoholic personality that, I'm forgetting her name, the Susie Wiles, the alcoholic personality, the addictive personality. Trump even admits that he has an addictive personality, which I do too. But I believe that him and Erica and Cash and Bongino and so many others like them, that they're addicted to the attention. They're addicted to being just having the spotlight on them. They're addicted to the limelight, really. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about addiction to sex, because when you have that, when you're afflicted with an addiction to sex, and when you're addicted to an affliction of that nature that is illegal, say with underage individuals, you would probably stop doing it if you could, because you would know that you're risking your entire future, you're risking your family, you're risking going to jail, you're risking everything, which is probably part of what makes it, you know, another beautiful secret every day, right? To quote this disgusting birthday letter. So I don't think I'm going out on a limb to make a guess or an assessment that the Bigly Piggly has an sex addiction, in addition to his addiction of being the center of attention. And whenever there's word from the White House that he's post-sexual, I'm just like, nobody asked. Like, the fact that they're trying to put that out in the public arena tells me, again, that they're trying to hide something. Because obviously he's not getting any action with Melania. I mean, that couldn't be more apparent, right? No, not Gilbert Godfrey. Oh, who? A guy from Godfrey Comic. Thank you. Godfrey Comic. I'll check that out. And Erica too says she doesn't drink, and I don't believe her. When you look at her behavior as well as Biggly Piggly's, is very consistent with the behavior of an alcoholic. Plus, these people that are so effing wealthy, like Elon Musk is the perfect example. Having lived in Southern California and known a lot of these extremely wealthy, successful folks in entertainment industries, they kind of all are substance abusers. I've said that before. It's sort of like a unspoken, well-known secret, right? When you have all the money in the world, what more is there? What gets your, what inspires you? What keeps you going? So Erica saying that she doesn't touch alcohol and Donnie saying that he doesn't touch alcohol. Like I said yesterday, it would almost be a good thing for them to just say, yeah, I have trouble with alcohol and that's why I do all this erratic, crazy behavior, or trouble with something else. Because maybe it's not alcohol. I mean, alcohol is just a really easy one to come by. It's also a really easy one to hide. And most addicts hide their addictions. Most addicts are not out in the open the way Elon is or was, or like the way Nick Reiner was. Most addicts keep it very well hidden, very secret, and they can be very high functioning. They can be principals of schools. They can be commercial flight, pilots, commercial airline pilots. They can be brain surgeons, literally. There's a lot of doctors who are addicted. And how do you get help for that and not lose your professional licensure? I think personally that that's one of the reasons why they made it a medical diagnosis, is so that with the American Medical Association, the what is that called? The American Disabilities Act, the ADA, that doctors could get help, get treatment, and not lose their licensure, because you have to accommodate somebody with a medical disability. I think he takes Adderall to try to stay awake because he's up all night sundowning. That's the best sentence. The second one, he's up all night sundowning. That's hilarious. It's funny, not funny. I mean, the man is in charge of the nuclear code and he is ready to blow up the world. His world is blowing up. So Bongino is out. He's literally packing up his desk as we talk, as we wrap up this live here. There's a couple of others who just quit, like people's names who I had never heard before. I watched a video about them quitting last night, like people, like integral parts of the administration that have been there for a long time. I think there were 2 of those resignations yesterday. The rats are jumping ship, Annabes, and yeah, learning more about that halting of the construction on the White House ballroom. It's more apparent that the whole purpose of the Whitehall ballroom and bulldozing the East Wing of the White House was really to put in a more fortified bunker. So that's how they're getting around it, is that they're saying that it's national security. That's how they're getting around that one judge's decision to shut it down. So let's see if there's anything else I need to say. Well, power addiction, right? Total addiction to power. There's nothing more intoxicating than that. So as I wrap up, let me just say that so much of Erica's act is just an act. If you saw any of that interview, she has this thing where she says, Charlie would come home on Friday night and he'd throw his phone in the junk drawer and say, Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home, and we'd have the weekend together. And I didn't care how late he came home. I told him, I don't care how late you come home. I'm always going to have your dinner here for you. It might be cold. We might have to reheat it. Just going on and on. Have you heard her do that spiel, Annabise? It's in that interview with Barry Weiss, and it's in another interview that she did this last week too. It's like the same canned conversation, pretty much word for word. And it just sounds so weird. Not just the Shabbat Shalom, which I guess might be the title of the book that she's trying to peddle right now, like a post-humanious publication of Charlie Kirk's. But the whole thing about, I don't care how late you come home, your food will still be here for you. It might be cold. We'll reheat it. It's like, no, when your spouse comes home late, you don't leave their food out. And she actually says something like, I'll leave your food out for you. It might get cold, but we'll reheat it. It just made me think that they probably don't eat together and that they probably don't spend weekends together, because the way she told the entire story was nonsensical, the whole thing. And I see that Drea is here, and I know I recognize your name from a long time ago, my dear, but for some reason my system has you probably as not the handle that you're used to seeing when you're in a chat. And if you can tell me if there's another handle, it's so familiar. I remember that there was somebody with that name, Drea, that was often in the lives, especially in the Kylie Rodney days. Is that you? It must be, because you have a wrench. So yeah, you must be. What is the other handle though, Drea? Can you tell me if you're able to type? If you can't, that's okay too. She's so full of it. Anna B says, I made it to a live late, but glad to be here. I'm so happy that you're here, Drea. YouTube has changed our handles. Well, but it's just on my channel, right? Is it on other channels too? But yeah, I do need to wrap up and get myself to this basketball game. So it's weird when people who don't know how to act like normal people, because I don't know, maybe they're robots, when they try to pretend like they're normal people. Oh, and the biggest thing as I wrap this up, and I'm so sorry to have to wrap up with you guys. No, it's all over. Oh, really? That's crazy, Annabise, but I'm glad to know it's not just my system that's effed up. That's ridiculous. So what the F is going on with the YouTube? It's probably getting hijacked by the government. I mean, I kind of thought it already was, right? As I'm wrapping up, what was the thing I needed to throw into the conversation is that you'll be so relieved to know that Erica and Candace have made up. They sat down for a 4.5-hour private conversation yesterday, and all is well, and we'll get to hear all about it. I'm sure Candace did her live today. I think she does them at 2:00, but I don't know if she's in New York or what time zone she's in. I think she's in New York. So she's probably still on live telling everybody all about the 4.5 hour meeting that her and Erica had where they kissed and made up. Yes, you noticed it on Shan's live the other night. I noticed that Shan did just like a 20-minute live that I missed, but I don't know if she's done others. I'll have to go check out what she's posted. No way, Annabee says, Candy-O, you suck. I know. This whole freaking situation sucks, and it sucks that we're all getting screwed over by Biggly Piggly. It sucks that a lot of people's lives are in danger. I guess ICE is coming down hard again in Chicago. And the whole thing with the risk of World War III. Yeah, she got ended abruptly and didn't come back on. Oh, really? Wow. With Shan got ended abruptly and didn't come back on because she's really good with her technology. So it probably wasn't from her end. I'm wondering if it's from Kylie Rodney's end, the Hamburglers. Yes. That's going to be my guess. That's definitely going to be my guess. So I do need to wrap up. It's 4:45, and that's kind of like my absolute cutoff time. So thanks so much for being here. Love you both. Andrea, are you able to type in what your other handle is? And I'm glad it's not me that's messing it up. But it was a different name, wasn't it? Or Anna, if you remember. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Yeah, I might try to come back on later tonight. There's just so much to discuss. I don't want to miss it because it's just going a mile a minute. And I feel like if I don't talk about it in the moment, I'm just gonna get moving on to the next thing. Because I don't want to say it, but I'll say it so that I can jinx it and hopefully be proven wrong. Like there's some more horrible shit that's going to happen by the end of today and tomorrow. And again, like I think we create reality with our words and ideas sometimes, but I also am suspicious, and I think that we can jinx it if we say it out loud. Then, Murphy's Law will have to prove me wrong. So, like, I'm really worried. I'll just say it. I'm really worried about a commercial airline crash, a large, like, jumbo jet. That's one of my big concerns, amongst many other attacks on terrorist attacks, basically from the Biggly Piggly. Why can't he just step off? Why can't he just deal with his comeuppance? Just, deal with his consequences of his actions. I didn't mean to say comeuppance. I meant to say consequences. But yeah, awful. And I need to run, so I'm going to log off and say love you guys. I got a phone call coming, so let me try to end it quickly as I'm answering, or I'll just answer. Hey, babe. I am.